Oh my gosh, I'm having a hair day. Hi, I'm just starting my live. If you're joining, I'm gonna hang out for a few minutes, say hi, let me know something that's true for you, something on your heart or mind, something that is, I don't know, something that's up for you. I am talking about content development today. I'm just getting myself ready to do some recording for one of my courses. I'm planning to do content. I jump onto my lives and do my makeup, and then I forget to do my makeup because I start talking. I don't know what is going on with my hair today. What is that? So if you are going to stick around for even just a couple minutes, say hi, tell me something about yourself. I like the deeper stuff, but if you want to just tell me what city you're in or what state you're in, I will I will make do with that piece of information. But if you want to tell me something that's actually on your heart and mind, something that's important to you, something that you're curious about, something that you're feeling strongly about or struggling with or developing an idea around, or I don't know, anything, tell me. And if you just want to say what state you're in and what you had for lunch, that's we'll make do with that too. Generally, in my lives, I freeform speak about who knows what. Usually, it's speaking skills, artful aging, sometimes ADHD. But I've been noticing recently that a lot of people write beautiful, long, elaborate, concise social media posts to promote their business or their coaching or whatever it is that they're selling. And some of them are beautiful and deep, and people are getting really good at telling their inner stories or sharing about their inner life, about their life stories, about things that are important, and getting so much better at being authentic and real and deep and finding the inspirational or the educational points to share. And so some of the posts that I'm reading have been just beautiful. But a lot of times, those same people, it's mostly intellectual, exactly. Then it's mostly intellectual. And so many of those same people, oh, it's not most. Oh, I see. I thought you were commenting on what I was saying. Thank you. Hi, Matt. Yeah, thank you so much for the compliments. I appreciate that. So, what I'm talking about is the fact that so many people who write these beautiful social media posts are also the same people who say, but I could never get on video. And I want them to know that they are halfway there. They have an advantage that so many other people don't have because they have their script already written. If I could have all my scripts written for all my social media videos and my YouTube channel, I would be so happy. If someone wanted to write even the first draft of my posts, it would make things so much better. I would have to do so much less editing. As it is right now, I mostly improvise what I'm talking about, and then I have to spend hours editing out all the stuff that is not relevant or is redundant or isn't serving the content. But if someone else was to write it, or if, and I'm speaking to myself too, because I also have a number of long written social media posts. But you'll write one for me, Gilbert? Oh, that'd be amazing. We can co-create content. What would it be about? That would be amazing. I'd love that. But I want these people to know, the people who are writing these long posts, the people who have these beautiful Facebook posts or Instagram posts, that all they need to do is turn on their camera and read their own content. They've already done all the work to edit it, to get to the essence of it, to find the meat of it. So all they have to do now is say it to camera. If it seems like I'm being dismissive of the challenge, then you're right, I am, because there are some things you need to think about when you're converting written language, even if it's written language that you've written, into videos to make it seem natural. So I'm going to go over those 3 points. Stage fright is a chance for spiritual growth. Ooh, I love that, Matt. It's so true. It is so true. In fact, when I was a film and television actor, I approached it as a personal growth challenge. So I always considered that my film career was like being in a martial arts mat. And that is that could I participate in the business, in LA especially, where it's intense and crazy, and go to auditions and get rejected from so many jobs or get close and then lose it. So many emotional ups and downs with being a film and TV actor. And so my challenge was always, and my query to myself was always, can you stay consistently in your own self-esteem? Can you know who you are? And can you be steady regardless of how much rejection you experience and for whatever the reasons are? So for me, it was always a practice of, can I be true to myself in the face of Hollywood? that was the challenge for me. So I totally agree with you, stage fright and taking on anything challenging is a chance for spiritual and personal growth. LA is probably pretty close to a martial arts fight bruising. You got it. Exactly. I moved from Toronto. The first 5 or 7 years of my career were in Toronto, and it was a smaller market. I mean, it's still challenging. It doesn't matter how you cut it. It's a challenging business to be in, but moving to LA was another level for sure. I'm interested in self-healing from learning philosophy and heal my own brain. Oh, that's great. Well, anything about brain relatedness or what it means to be neurotypical versus all the different neuroatypical types of brains that we have amongst us and maybe even in ourselves. Okay, so I want to share now the 3 things you need to know if you want to convert your written language into video. The first thing you need to keep in mind is that it's easy to get distracted by your own text. So I see people who are reading their own texts looking like this. They're reading and then they're reading and reading whatever the thing is next. And they forget that it's important to take that written information that they're reading from wherever it is and bring it to their viewer. So eye contact is important, and you want to be careful to not be distracted by your own writing. So as you're reading, you are also remembering to bring that written language to your audience. The second thing to remember when converting written language, for example, a social media post you've written on Facebook, to a video for TikTok or Instagram, is to use the dynamic range of volume and pacing, which includes speeding up sometimes and often pausing, which is our natural way of speaking. So when you're reading your social media text for the purpose of turning it into a video, you may have to pretend that you're thinking of it as you go. Because the truth is, when we're thinking, oh, wow, Gilbert, that was so cool. I don't think I've ever received one of those again. I wonder if that gets recorded in my, I don't think that's going to end up in my recorded video. That was so cool. A garland headpiece. Okay, what was I saying? Let's see. So that if you're converting your written language into a video, you want to use the same techniques that are natural to us when we're speaking extemporaneously while also reading, which often means that you have to pretend to be thinking of it as you go, which is an acting skill set. So that's number 2. Before I get to number 3, let's read Matt's comments. Lisa, you have a great voice style, but for rookies, do you think it's better to record standing? I think if you have a hard time projecting your voice or filling it in, it's not a bad idea. That is typically the standard thing, is that you should be standing, or at least watch your posture so that your belly's not cramped up, that you have space in your stomach area and your diaphragm to take in a lot of air. Virtual hugs from Florida and virtual kisses from Florida. Thank you. Hi, Lisa. Hi. VJM3570 says, as a psychiatrist, but acting lawyer, I appreciate your beliefs. Okay, great. I mean, if you use social media, this is specifically because just this morning I saw a friend of mine who's in one of my communities post a wonderful post on Facebook, or was it Instagram? Doesn't matter. And it was really long and really involved. And I have ADHD, so I scanned it. I seriously scanned it. I maybe read the first 4 words of each sentence in each paragraph, and there are probably 15 paragraphs. So it was really, really long. And th- this is really common because the more we want to get to the heart of who we are and what our ideas are and what we're sharing, the longer it takes us, because there's a lot of nuance. We want to get into the depth of our experience. Sometimes it takes more words. But if you can convert that written language into a video or into spoken language, you have so much more ability to impact people and to have people get a sense of you as you're telling your story. It's frustrating to read a wall of text. It is frustrating, especially when you know that there's a lot of depth and beauty and nuance and wisdom in that wall of text. So I want nothing more than for all of us, if you're a content creator, to go back and give me some sign, say yes or why or something if you're a content creator. Matt, I know you are. But if you're a content creator, go back. I'm going to do the same thing myself. I'm going to challenge myself to do the exact same thing. I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel this week. I'm going to go back and find a social media post that I wrote at some time in the past that has some evergreen content that is applicable now as much as it was then. And I'm going to turn it into a video using the techniques I'm talking about. So I've already shared the first two important things to think about when converting social media writing into video. The first one was to remember to not get distracted by the text itself and remember that your eye contact matters. The second one was to use all of the same dynamics of volume and pacing and pausing that we use naturally when we are speaking extemporaneously. And the third one is to make sure we are converting our written language into spoken vernacular. The way we write is different from the way we speak. And so often I see people taking on a speaking challenge, and because they're not comfortable speaking extemporaneously, or because they recognize the benefit of having a script, they write the script out first, but they write it like an essay. And then when they try to read that essay as a social media post or something that is intended to be more natural and more relatable, it doesn't work because they're reading formal text that was written like a high school or even a college essay. So when we take the written text that we want to convert into a video, we sometimes need to simplify the vernacular to make it a little bit more casual, to make the sentences more concise and more straightforward. And sometimes we won't even notice ourselves. I mean, I have many times where I've done that, where I'm using words that I simply don't speak in day-to-day life, but are commonly written. So we want to pay attention to converting our written style language into spoken vernacular. People write words like purport or utilize, and those words don't sound good spoken. Exactly, because they're not natural. We don't naturally say that. I've caught myself doing that. Those are my tips for converting written social media posts into video. I think we get so much more connection and so much more of a sense of who someone is and what they mean and what they say when we see them speaking, when we see them on video, compared with when we read a long wall of text on their social media platform. And also compared with when we see a still picture of them that's probably got filters on it. So wherever possible, convert your written content into video content. Video is the way of the future. It's the way of the present moment, but it's definitely going to increasingly be more and more important. Give yourself that leg up. Give yourself that starting bonus. Yeah, I'm going to actually try it right now while I have you all here. Let's see if I can find a post that I wrote. Let's see. And I'm going to see if I can do it. It might be hard because I haven't really planned it, but might as well, since I'm going on and on about the ways you should do it, let's see if I can actually do it. Now I'm feeling under pressure because you're all waiting for me. Okay. I'm going to breathe. No rush. This is going to be a good challenge for me, actually. Well, especially because where the way my computer is positioned, it's going to be very hard for me to read it as if I'm reading to you because I have to look like my eye line's really bad. Okay, let me see if I can move my computer a bit so the eye line is a little bit better. So that's another thing that we learn as actors. We always have to pay attention to our eye line, and eye line is not as simple as it might seem. Where we look has an impact. So I am going to be very clearly reading from something that is over here, but I'm going to do my best to convert this piece of social media content um, into a spoken video. This is a post about the experience of death and some deepening of the understanding I had about it a number of years ago. And I originally wrote this post in 2013, but I've revised it a few times. And what it says that I want to share with you is that I'm afraid of death. And if you are anything like me, or even like most people, you might be afraid of death too. When my daughter was 6, it was palpable. It was primal. She would yell, "I don't want to die." And my husband at the time, who I'm no longer married to, was a scientist who was looking to end aging, to cure age-related diseases that take our lives too early. And so while that is a noble endeavor, it's not always successful, and especially not yet. So recently, I've been reminded that so much of what is the most exquisite about our lives, about living life, and by exquisite, I use the dictionary definition that references synonyms like flawless and beautiful, intense, and keen. Much of what makes life something we want to prolong, that we can learn about by facing, and not just facing, but also accepting death, which I would say is easier said than done. So take my friend, for example. Her name was Alani. And at the time I wrote this article, she was fighting small cell lung cancer. And a few days after she was diagnosed, she wrote to friends and talked about how she was feeling optimistic and hopeful and grateful for the outpouring of love she was receiving from her friends and from all of her communities. And I don't think she was referring to being hopeful that her life would be extended. I think what she was referring to was not the hope that she would beat cancer, but a larger hope and a bigger optimism about the possibility of living an exquisite life for whatever time she had left. And so, in that same message, she also wrote, "Never at any point in your life ignore the possibility of something extraordinary coming along." To me, that seems flawless and tense and beautiful. Yeah, there's a larger hope. So a few months after she wrote that post, she shared about what a gift it was that people were sharing things with her that they usually don't. She wrote, "There's something about a cancer diagnosis that allows other people to open up and share their lives and their thoughts and themselves in ways that don't happen every day." So I don't believe it was the cancer diagnosis that she faced as much as her open-hearted and brave attitude towards the reality of her diagnosis and her life. Her willingness to honestly share her journey every step of the way. And that made it possible for people in her life to connect with her and to join her in the heartbreak of her journey and in the joy of it, in the beauty of living an exquisite life in the face of death. I think it's more accurate to say she was accepting cancer in a beautiful way and therefore also accepting and celebrating life. All right. The article goes on. It's quite a bit longer, but that was my attempt at doing what I'm describing, which is when you've written something, you have the benefit of having a script ready to use for making a video. So there are parts of what I read that maybe if I was wanting to speak a little bit more natural vernacular, I might have changed a little bit. There were also parts of it that maybe I would have sped up a little more or acted like I was thinking about them or discovering it as I go. So as an actor, we're taught that part of making a script come off the page and be alive is the experience of remembering the next line. discovering what the next word is going to be. And so sometimes you can do that because you actually don't remember what's coming next and you have to think for a second about your next line. But sometimes you can pretend. So sometimes you can be talking, and maybe I'm reading on February 6th, she hosted a birthday party. She'd spent weeks before organizing. And I knew the word was organizing, but I can act like I'm remembering it. That's an acting skill set. All right. I truly enjoy your videos and live feed. Oh, thank you, Julian. Jim says, oh, shared the live. Thank you, Jimmy. And Matt says that was a fantastic illustration. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for witnessing me. Thank you for letting me practice it before I make the video telling people they should do this. Okay, well, I think that's about all I've got today, unless there's something specific that any of you want to talk about or want me to share on. My hair is not doing a good job for me today. I don't know what's going on. It was sticking up like this morning. So I'm going to end there. Thanks so much for being here. Always great to have your feedback and your thoughts and your questions and your inspiration and your muse. So thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your stuff. Hope your day goes well. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, to you too. We'll see y'all next time.